busting the world's oldest conspiracy by revealing the first writers' formats in the Bible. Have you ever wondered who is editing the Bible? These are some of the words written by the 1611 King James translators that are wrote in its preface. They state 4 reasons how anyone can re-edit the text in the Bible. Their third reason is by the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next arrow down points to them writing, a great clerk, Gregory, is the divine, spelt with a capital D. At the bottom, they will tell you by studying the Bible, your reward is to have a participation in a heavenly nature. Whereas the Bible's words should be telling you how to be obedient to our Creator to enter into heaven. Now you know by their own words, they are not the good guys editing the Bible. Here, let me show you the 12 commandments that are listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Surprising, isn't it? Now let me show you how I changed one word in Exodus chapter 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and now you know that these planks make the hip roof for the tent for meeting for Yv. Why did I just use 2 letters for our Creator's name? Well, Hebrews did not have the letters J, O, or W in their language. Therefore, I am closer when I say the letters YV in English than anyone else. It is better to learn how to pronounce these 2 letters in Hebrew. Our Creator made me see Him 8 times, and these videos are my recording of how and why I am re-editing their text. Then all these books that I am editing will be made into one book in order. In my YouTube description, it has our Creator's hidden formats in a PDF of the same text. In fact, it is a message to everyone today and in the future. I have also made many different styles from these hidden formats for copyright reasons. This is getting very close to the end of the Kings 1. This is chapter 20, I believe, here, and I'm going to do 21 for this video. Now, what I'm doing is finding the first writer's formats of the Hebrew text. It's in the Hebrew text only that you can find this. And what you're seeing here is a 3-verse format, okay? And that means that this first verse is a statement, and then these 2 verses make a sentence that define the statement. And then it repeats itself, or that's how they wrote. And then these 2 are connected together as a format, complete format, or a larger paragraph. And then I put a double space between them to then show them how they're divided up. This, I haven't gone through and really cleaned the text up here too well, but you can see how I've got these as groups and how that happens throughout the formats that I've been finding. I'm recording these for history, so everybody will know what I was thinking or why what I was changing to be truthful and why I'm changing it to be truthful. Jesus has words about a helper coming and going to speak the true truths about Jesus. Well, you're going to hear more truths out of me than you've heard out of anybody for the last 2,000 years about Jesus. So, well, maybe 1,900 years. But anyways, I got to get down here to where I'm going to start, or I'll put the text that I'm doing right here, are the 29 verses today, or in this video. And if you just want to race to the end to see the text, I will put that, I try to show that at the end. But if you want to get an understanding of what's going on here as me changing all history, This is what I've been doing for about 700 videos. So this doesn't really sound like what was happening before, because Ahab is this king is here, and it seems like the text is going to be talking about this king and his wife, because we have Jezreel here, and she can't be a Jezreelite. There's no such thing. Whoops. So that's wrong. Now it came about. I like shortening up to say happening or happened. Now it happened, and this is what my editing marks to say that I'm changing those words. Now it happened after these things. There's no definition of what these things are. And if you read the story above, it's talking about how Ahab went to battle a king, and then he let him go. And then that last story there is about a prophet telling him that our Creator didn't like that, letting him go. You were supposed to kill him and as many as possible, and then they would leave the nation Israel alone. So, how does that get to be after these things? Okay, so what I have to say is then this doesn't need to be put into the text. Now, it happened that Naboth had a vineyard in Jezreel. I don't think that's. They went by tribes' names as the land marking. So if it was by the city Jezreel, there's no city Jezreel, not by the text. The city is Samaria. And they didn't have a palace. So the king didn't have a palace beside the king of Samaria. So there's no king of Samaria. There's only two nations. So red flags over salted words here. For Israel. And I'm pretty sure it's not this king, so I'm just going to put space that I've got to change that. And oops. So let me fill you in on a little bit. they're talking about this king, and I'm pretty sure it's this king because this guy's going to kill him. And the thing here is this guy is marrying Jezreel. Okay, and you've seen that name mentioned. Now, the land that we're talking about is around Samaria here. Okay. Now, Samaria was fortified, so it had this wall around it. How big was it? How many people could possibly live there? Well, from the story before, it seems it has to be at least a few hundred men, wives, children, guards, and having to have a market inside it, stuff like this. So now, as far as being walled up, a wall built around it, is it like a half-mile square? Okay, could have been. Could have been a quarter-mile square. That's more reasonable. So a lot of people could live within that area. Now, the story that's going to come about later, I don't know if it's in this one or not, because I only have one more chapter to go, that when Jehu kills the king, he's going to come in, and Jezreel, his wife, is going to be along the wall looking out at a window into the city, Samaria. So that I'll just put that way for you right now. I don't want to get too far ahead, but that's what's happening. So I'm going to put this king's name in. Just replacing it with the correct name. And you'll have to watch the other videos to see how that came about, I guess. And let me just go through here looking for his name. See, they leave his name out quite a bit. Just use the king a lot. See, now here, king for Israel, who is in Samaria. Samara? I don't know. Okay. I've done a little bit ahead of time there on that, but you just have to understand I've done this for many years, and they change names all over the place. So I'm trying to be as truthful as possible. That Naboth. Now this guy was had a vineyard beside. Now this should be his land. because they aren't the same. He's got a garden, he's got a vineyard. He wants to expand his garden and get rid of the vineyard here, as the story is right here, vegetable garden. And he spake to Nabal, saying, give me your, I want to put land, not vineyard. We understand he has a vineyard on the land. That I may have it for a, now it's not, now this place or palace might be the land, the fortified city. And if he's here, they're talking about outside there is this guy's land that he's got his vineyard on, and he wants it. So it's not, so it has to be, so I can have a vegetable garden because yours is close beside my house. And what I'm seeing is a 3 verse here, a 3 verse here. This palace, if I do this here, copy this, put it here, and say, I'm going to add that word here and get rid of this. And I'll get rid of all this then. By Samara, which now you know Samara, and you know, have to understand what Samara looks like in your head. Spake to Mabel, saying, give me your land so that I have a vegetable garden, because yours is close beside my house. Now, this isn't going to be a house. It's going to be a building that's using the wall that you would enter, the gates you're going to come through, and the wall that's going to go this way. This is where he's got his house against the fort wall. Okay. So knowing that, There has to be other gates at the back and sides to get in and out of the city. They usually have 4 ways to get in and out. So this isn't really a house beside my place. Use it that way. I'll give you better land for your vineyard. And then in its place, that doesn't sound right. So we'll get rid of that. And I forgot to tell you, because I hope you're still watching from the beginning, that I'm using 2 major words to make a verse, and then connecting with the least amount of smallest words. And that's done throughout every verse, either 3 or 4 verse. I will give you better land for your vineyard. Or give you silver. Okay. And boy, I missed that guy's name right off the bat. Well, that was quick. Forbids me. And this is because they're supposed to keep. So we've got a king that doesn't believe in our creator. This guy here actually is built inside Samara. A temple and altars in the marketplaces and other places for Ra and Asherah, which is the female goddess. So this guy is one who is still a true Israeli, a believer, or one who has his trust with our Creator, forbids me that I should give you my inheritance. Maybe forbids me giving you my inheritance. sad and disappointed. So he went into his house, sad and disappointed. There's 3 verses. Now this is just a repeat of what he said, so I'm getting rid of that. And he laid on his bed and turned his face, turned and turned. No, I don't think it needs to be that he turned his face to the wall. So he laid in his back, or he laid on his bed and ate no food. And turned away his food. I moved the word food from here and said I'm going to use it here. And turned away, his food to so as to not eat. And I'm going to take this word and say that that's this word. And then do this. And laid on his bed and turned away his food so as not to eat. I think that's pretty good. His food so as not to food. Turned away his food and did not eat. And did not eat. Okay. Jezebel, his wife, came in. I guess I don't need that. Came in and asked. Asked him, this wouldn't be here. And would say why are you not eating? Boy said, answered, because it has to be when I spake. I spake. Maybe he it can't be said. It has to be refused. He refused to give me his land He answered, because when I spake, don't he refused to give me his land for silver or land. If it pleases, if it please him. That would give silver or land. I would give silver to please him, or I'm trying to get rid of the word land here because I can see for silver to give him land. But he said, will not give you my land because it is my inheritance. Where's that? It is my inheritance. Jezebel said, do you now, do you not know? I'll put not know. You are king No, let me put it this way. Let me do this way. King for Israel. Yeah. Do you not know you are king for Israel? Let your heart be joyful. I will give. I will not give. I will get. You this land. Is and eat, and let your heart be joyful, for I will get you his land. Let's see. She wrote letters. And Joram's loyal sealed them with his seal and sent the letters. Not sure if it's one or two or just, one or more to um, band. He proclaimed. Not a fast, that proclaimed. Seat Naboth. If it was wrote in his name, would give a okay, so this is out. I got to put his name here. Would hold a feast. So and they are to seat Nebo, the head of the table. with worthless men. And they are to, I think I added all this here. I think I added these two. Table with worthless men. And as they, as, yeah, I don't think I need this. Let's let them testify against him, saying, cursed king. This could have been Lord and King, but to get to the point, and he cursed king, take him out, stone him to death. For me, your king. Because this is the letter that she wrote, so I've got to kind of put these are the words that she's going to. our Lord and King. Then take him out and stone him to death. For me, your king. And that's how she wrote this. Now, in the letters, saying, I, Jim, would hold a feast, and they are to set Nabal at the head of the table with worthless men, and let them testify against him, saying he cursed our Lord and King. Then take him out and stone him to death for me, your king. Okay. This has to be wanted here. So by you know, trying to find words that are going to go in here. Test against this. Then they well, it's not you will it said oops. Now in the letters it said to proclaim, you will hold a feast. Or to seat Naboth at the head of the table with worthless men. I'm going to change this a little bit and define who this is. And this guy, not a noble, but an official. An official who shall living by Naboth land. That way they would come because he's an official. Now it was planned by only one, so she only wrote one letter. She wrote a letter to name and sealed it with his seal, and sent the letter to an official living by Naboth's land. Now in the letter it said to proclaim, you will hold a feast, and you are to sit at the head of the table with two worthless men. Saying he cursed our Lord and King. Then take him out and stone him to death. For me, your king. So I think that an official would have the power to do that and the power to pay off these guys. Then he sent word to her it's got to be to him, and she intercepted. So then he sent word to him, just as it was written in your letter, to me, and me has to be the second subject here to make it. So I got to do that. And find priest as the reaper, head of the table. Sat before him the worthless men. Who testified against him. Trying to keep the letters short here. And they took him outside and stoned him to death. People were against him. Testified against him. And the people were against him. So they took him outside and stoned him to death. So but that wouldn't make any sense. I'm sorry, I just seen your chat there. Nick, what prophecy are you busting? It's not the prophecy I'm busting. It is the Bible is actually written by atheists. And I will quickly prove that to you by showing you the 1611 preface to the Bible. In the preface of the Bible, they have these words that I highlighted, and in my YouTube channel, I have this, it probably is the last link in it, And I've got all these things that are put out, but this is the 1611 translator's own words that are written in the 1611 preface. And they gave 3 reasons why anyone can edit or 4 reasons why anyone can edit the text. But I found the third one funny by saying, by the light and feeling we have attained unto ourselves. They also call Gregory, a great clerk, Gregory the Divine. Notice the capital D here on divine. And then they were happy that the first Roman emperor corrected the calendar in the order according to the course of the sun, and they highlighted or capital letter on the word sun. That's to honor and respect Ra, the sun god. But behind this meaning here, that means that at Nebuchadnezzar's waking up of eating grass, proclaimed our Creator is the God of all gods, and he put Babylon onto our Creator's calendar. And then down here they wrote, lastly, and the end reward of the study thereof, which means the text that you're going to read, is just to have a fellowship with the saints and a participation of the heavenly nature. Now, there is no such thing as heavenly nature, and I think you're reading the Bible to go to heaven. So that's one of the things I'm going to show you. Another thing is the text is so corrupt that this Bible program that I have, when I click on this English word, it tells me whether it's Hebrew or Greek, and that word that they're using. And down here's what makes it dangerous. They put how many times they use that word. But notice that this word, which kind of means pretty much, I would say most of these down here are acceptable to use, because I don't know about what jots and tittles would mean. But then but how did they get the word anyone, deadly, reason, steward, storehouses, and powder? Because if I show you here, so, and click on it, there's the Hebrew word for it. But down here, they actually used it so for 7 times. So the text has been corrupted to a point that you cannot go back and say, I'll put these words back into here. Next, these are words from Jesus about someone who is going to come, and the helper comes, and he will bear witnessing of me. And I say in my videos, or some of them, that our Creator made me see him 8 times, and from his light he showed me a cross, and of the same light. And then I guess to say a little bit more, our Creator shows himself as a circle of light. I say brilliant purity. And out from his light came a cross of the same light. So that's me witnessing him, that this has to be done. And then he will guide people in truths about me. So when you hear what I'm doing here, and by revealing the true truths of Jesus, this is Jesus's prophecy of me coming to do this. If I know I've got in my YouTube channel many links, just like the one that's in this chat board here, that Jesus was not buried for 3 days. And if you check out that video, you get an understanding. Now, what's unique is, let me get this other one here up for you. For it is Jesus who defines what is Holy Spirit. And if I asked you what Holy Spirit is, you would not be able to answer me, because you need to see that video. And it's very in depth, of how the words spirit exist in all four gospel books, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So what I'm doing here is busting this conspiracy that they've had of editing the Bible for their God and deceiving people by having these double words and not showing you these hidden formats. For you to experience finding the formats, you can go into the first 8 Psalms, copy them over into a word processor, remove all the numbers and punctuations, find the smallest verses you can, group them together as like a format, and then remove the words that are not needed, and you will see this hidden formats that do exist in Psalms. Now, I'm going to put up here on this side the Psalms about Jesus that I found in the text. But what I'm doing is putting all these books together, and I've been doing this for years, but I finally, within the last 3 years, started to put it on the internet of what I'm doing here, and it's pretty much recording the history of my editing of the text. In YouTube, on my channel, if you search, what I got, Jesus saying stupid things, or no, I think it's the title is God Jesus is stupid, and then I've got like 74 verses I go through of how the text has Jesus being stupid. He does not know what a sin is. Let me explain, because if I ask you what a sin is, you might not know. No, here, let me show you something that is going to change history on a lot of things. I changed this one word in Exodus 28 or 26, verse 26, from bars to arches, and the wood that's mentioned in here create the hip roof that is supposed to be on the tent of the tent for his house. The tent for meeting with our Creator, and then that would be enough. So right there, you're seeing something brand new, never been seen before. In Exodus 20, verse 1 through 17, you will find that there are 12 commandments that are listed, and in these 12 commandments, our Creator defines that if you do not obey them, you are to bring a sin offering, which means there are only 12 sins, and these are the 12 sins. So our Creator didn't define what a sin is until now, so there's no original sin, and the word sin is being used wrong all over the text. What I guess I should show you real quick here. What I found here, you can see that I've got this format, this 3-verse format that you see right now that I'm doing. You can see that this is like a statement, and then these two become a sentence to define the statement, and then another like group to where these become a large format. They start out as one small format, but two together, or paragraph, and then they become the two as a larger paragraph, and then they're double spaced. So this is the hidden format that I'm revealing of the first writers, and what I'm taking out is when this king down here for Judah, he was meditating to have sex with a so-called female goddess. He put her image inside our Creator's house for meeting with him. So in his meeting room, that means the priests were corrupt at that time, that they had this practice of having this sex practice with a so-called female goddess. And from this time, I can say that the king, with his power, started taking the books and all their scrolls or books that they had, and those guys started rewriting them. But over time, the good guys were still writing the Psalms or these verses like this, and they are actually known as the Psalm. That little group together, those two groups, that's what really a Psalm is. And so, because there's one verse somewhere in Isaiah, I think, that it says, and they wrote in columns, and that's what you're seeing me write in columns. So, but that's when they started overthrowing the text. And when I just said about the female goddess, a lot of people don't know. So if you, and I'm sure you don't know about her, well, her is in Malachi 2:11. It talks about Judah as a nation married the daughter of a foreign god. The foreign god is Ra, and his daughter, who has to be a goddess, is the moon goddess. And how do you marry her? You meditate. Um, Here are the three names for her of the moon goddess. If you study Islamic, the Quran, you would find that they talk about the daughters of the moon goddesses. So, what else? Oh, I was going to say, I forgot to say. And here's the argument in um, Jeremiah, how they were onto the Queen of Heaven and how they did all these things, and he was in an argument with them. But there are these verses here that talk about how corrupt it was at the time. And this corruption is what our Creator sent them away for, because they didn't obey the commandment of getting rid of a foreign God. So I hope that explains it. If you got another question, I hope you check out that last video there that I put up for you. Now here, I've got to come up with words for how did she get this. My stream's still healthy. Jezebel. Jezebel opened it. Um, it's a far reach. I know this is getting a little bit farther out there than what I'd like, but told him Naboth has been stoned to death. Jezebel opened it, and it said, She's now reading the letter. Said, Naboth had been stoned to death. She didn't hear it, she read it. Then, don't need any of this. Then shall rise and take possession of the land of Naboth, which he refused to give you for money. I don't need any more than that. I guess I'm going to have to put the word he, get this out of here. When he heard Naboth was dead. Like, he's still laying in bed, but I don't think he laid in bed for that long over that, so. I can't think of words to sit here and say that what he said here. So, then words from YHVH came to Elijah, saying, Go to for he is in the vineyard he's in the vineyard of Naboth to take possession of it. Okay. This was said by YHVH, which this is not right here. This, I need this word. And you will speak to him, saying, This is from YHVH. You have murdered he was murdered for you to take possession. But I'm not sure. I don't need this. Go meet Joram, for he's in the vineyard of speak to him, saying, Now I've got these words here. For you to take possession. No, that's not a question now, it's the answer here. Then you'll say, I prophesy this of you. Place where dogs licked the blood of Nemo. They will up your blood. Okay. Now that's a prophecy. Okay. And actually, Jehu does this. And so whoops. When he as he met thou now that he's met him said, they have found me my enemy. And he answered, I have found you because your wife did evil. Because your wife did evil. Okay, here it is here. I was looking for this because I've got to say, where's our creator going to say these? How's he saying our creator's going to say these things? YV will bring if I start down here, see, I don't need these words. Evil upon you. It's not so much that he's gonna tell him he's gonna kill him here. So YV will yours. Okay, these have to be our creator's words. YV will kill off yours. Really swept off means killed anyway, so. Saying that here. YV will kill off yours. I'm thinking this. Need yours then. Every male in Maria and Israel. Because actually he's going to go down to a city where he's keeping his sons away because there's going to be a battle, but this is what's going to happen. I don't think it needs to be said this way. Because of your evilness. You need to. I can put angered here. Of your evilness, you have provoked YV. Now this, it's almost like I can only use the word sins here into um, you have done many sins. And here I'm trying to use these two words are the major words. A lot of times, done, you did. Or you have angered YV. With your many sins. Okay. Jezebel also. Moving the word also. Jezebel maybe has prophesied. So the dogs will, it was lick up. I don't think I'm going to need any of this. Livy has prophesied. Dogs will lick up. Yours and Jezebel's blood. I don't think this is needed. They try to stick this verse in almost identically above in the text before there. You know, this is like a summary of the text here. And this wouldn't, he wouldn't have done that. I'm getting rid of that because that he was an evil king, but it's the wrong king. But this Jerome was evil. He didn't believe our Creator existed, so why is he listening to the prophet? Okay, so surely there was no king no king like this idiot here. There was no king like Joram. Done had who done evil in the sight of YV. And usually that is the 4-verse format, but it has changed because it's a summary. It doesn't have anything to do with this. It's like they're doing an ending here. Incited him, or what's another good word for incited? Because she was on to another. You got to understand what this guy is. He's the king that now has set up for his wife, and she was on to. This is the time where Israel changes what King Jeroboam done. I've said this before, but for history, you'll see that I'm doubling up. He just made an idol and said, "This is our creator YV," and you can stop going to YV in Jerusalem. And at this time, his wife makes him change that position to be now for Ra and Asherah. Ra and Asherah, the female goddess that and his wife together did evilly. I don't know if even that's a word. It is. Okay. Evilly is a word. Okay. Acted evilly. Amorites have been dead for years, so serving. I think it's within the shadow word serving. And idols is Raz. And this has got to be, I'm adding. I don't need this. There was no king like Jerome who done evil in the sight of YHVH. Because Jeruzabel, his wife, together acted evilly, serving roles. Yeah, they're blaming it on her. The text above is why he did this. He set it up for her. So and I just got done telling you he wouldn't humble himself before him. And no, this is all out. I am purposely making sure that this king here, Ahab, he's a good guy. He does a lot of good things. Our Creator has him killing off. He didn't obey him completely, but you got to understand he's been around a lot of corruption. But he did kill off his father, and I'm thinking in the other video I explained why, or the text that's missing has to be that our Creator told him to kill his father. And that's why that prophet that we don't know about is still in living in Samaria with him. And that's like Elijah takes over his place and he's living there as well in Samaria. Okay. Now I gotta better save that and open this. And I didn't know I missed those. Down here, I've got to add what I've just done. Now clean it up. This should have one space, then this should have two spaces. And this should have one, this should have two. This should have 2. This should have 2. This should have 2. And this should have 2. It should have 2. It should have 2 spaces. It should be 1. There's where 2 should be at. It should be 1, 2, 1, 2. Look at that. Our creator is done talking, and that's what this is kind of like checking to see if I got all the format, if there's anything missing. And right now, this story is complete, which is really, really cool. Out of everything I've done, this is in the first books, this is what's been happening pretty much. The story has been pretty much in order. They didn't screw anything around. They just added a whole bunch of junk. Oops. Now there's something missing. And it's the 3-verse text. And I kind of like said, I'm going to have to go and take another look at what I got rid of here, because this becomes this is a 3-verse, and then the text now goes to a 4-verse. And that's that. So let me let's see. Okay, 2 hours. So I got time here. This will be 23. So this was 23. Yeah, so this can't be true. I can't add anything, so it's got to be missing. Okay. Got it worked up, so I'm done for the night. So, done here. Done here. And I'm done here.